Hi guys, it was the fastest ever. You got Lady Hippy, and I am at the bar. And I love this. This is our bar, big bar. We turned the whole living and dining area into a bar room after my husband went to get a small one that he thought this is huge bar. I love it. No Ubers here, man. I just show up. I get photobombed by my freaking cats. By the way, hi. It's for entertainment purposes only. It's not for kids. You might want to let them go play somewhere else. And if you like, don't like, I don't know, show something. Watch 30 seconds. I could use the help. I don't make no money doing this shit. I am not averse to making money doing this shit. I'm just saying, not that popular. I don't drop videos. So far in the almost 2 years I've been doing this, had a big hiatus in the middle, broken leg, all that stuff. Trying to run through the me thing fast. For those of you who don't know me, I have live chat up. Comments are running live. Pop in, say something, don't say something. Tell who is this old bitch? I'll be happy to talk to you. Yes. No, I am no. May his memory be a blessing, Charlie Kirk. It's been a lot of crying for me. And I'm also happy in a lot of ways because I've seen such a wonderful outpouring of love for this young man that is sitting at the foot of the Lord. He stayed true to his convictions. He stayed true to his family. He stayed true to his God. So, no, he's not with us here, but he will be with us there. And I'm going to mention the name Charlie Kirk, if I can, every time I get up here. Again, it's my channel. I don't make no money. And what happened to Charlie Kirk should never, ever stop being said or investigated. Like World War II, like Jesus Christ. This guy never had a mean thing to say about anybody. And when you are so special that the VP is your pallbearer and that the president and first lady, vice president, second lady, and so on are at this funeral for you, and I know you know it, we loved you, Charlie. And we will always continue to love you, Charlie. The other thing I'm grateful for, I'm going to jump right in that bitch, is the fact that all of these bastards and bitches that have been celebrating his death, may they rot in hell. I'd say sorry, but not sorry. I've seen this hatred spewing throughout my country. I fear for my grandson. I fear for my granddaughter. I feel more even for their children. If this isn't stopped now, when will it stop? It's free speech, unless this guy over here doesn't like it. It just go ahead and shoot you. No. When I saw what happened, and at first the shock rocked me. The other thing that surprised me is I really did not know this young man. I'm not saying I would have. I meant more than what I'd seen, which was on his podcast. And I had seen him doing the Prove Me Wrong, and I just loved him. And I had no idea that he was in the political arena helping until recently, very recently. And I saw him, and I was like, well, you go, boy. I had no idea he'd been doing it for so many years as well. He was so young. Yes, I'm old, so now 31 is young. When I was 19, 31 was, yeah, I'm old. So, and I have to keep smiling. I have to keep going. I was going to stop broadcasting a podcast. And this happened on the same day that I made my decision to go ahead and close my channel. And I said then, no, I better stay. I'm not brilliant. I'm not sexy. I'm not pretty. But I'm going to be here. And if you want to share, if you want to just talk about anything and everything, it's when the children are allowed. And I'm a bit of a salty spoken person. I'm an Army veteran. published author, mother of one, grandmother of two, wife of the second one. He's stuck around for like, you think we're dragging 40 years behind it. We're not that Jim. Oh, that's not lovely. I got some things that from my company that I get to rate and talk about. I love this dress. I don't know. Let's see if I can do that. See, it was, goes to the floor. Has pockets. I love this thing. It's so light. But I was noticing a bit of a dip in the air this morning, so I said, shoot, I just got my summer clothes all together. And I've been changing. I'm still wearing my 60s type dresses, and I've switched to a long type. They're just long. They're either long, T length, or something along that line because of my leg. And now their scarring is not that bad. I could live with that. It's just trying to get it in and out of that. So yeah, that's the thing. It was cute. A friend of ours was sitting on the front porch last week, and I popped out. I was cleaning the house at the time, and he said, "Oh, where are you going? You look beautiful. Where are you doing? You got something you got to get to? Or are we holding you up, kind of thing?" No, I'm just vacuuming. He was here waiting for his wife to pick him up because he dropped a car, of course, for Robert to fix. And we've known them 12, 13 years, almost a decade and a half. And it might be that. We've known them a long time. And my husband cracked the door back up. Wanda, come here. Mimi wants to see you. I run back out. And they're in a hurry, and he's sweating. So they got the air out the window. We're like, you know. So that was sweet. And she yelled, "You should be going somewhere. Robert, quit making her clean the house." It's like, that boy know how to clean a house. He better wash his hands. It's just too many women been around him going, "No, don't. I'll get down here." So I've seen I went to the good thing I think also about the fact that we can do all of this, and I call it social Woodstock. Let's not let our voices be still. I don't mean on a megaphone or on a capital step. I mean like this in real time. Let's go back to our hippie days. So it's social Woodstock to me. There was no one hurt. We have peace and love and harmony. That's what we want. And we've let these people do this. And I tell you, I've been surprised by a couple of things. I'll point them out. A father who was given a minute in front of a school board to speak was attacked by no less than four rather chunky officers. They didn't pass a donut. Tasing him, pepper spraying him, and ripping his clothes as they dragged him still on the floor with, I think, still an officer on top of him. I was like, this is a school, but what? The absolute F was this about? And I thought this was shocking. I've been putting up with it for some time without saying anything much. As you can tell, it's not like me. I'm very, I'm not quiet. Don't give a shit. Then I saw during some horrendous flooding in the Middle East, a freaking camel floated by. And then another one floated. And I'm looking around going, how did they do this? It's a weather report. And look, it's flooded Dubai. And then I said, I've seen everything. I just saw camels floating by in the desert. Floating in the water. You think, okay, I've seen everything. Nah, you haven't. Hang in there. There's going to be something right around the corner that's going to go. You're going to go, didn't somebody just slap the shit out of me? I don't know anybody. Uh-huh. And mind you, when you're older, you say, oh, okay, I'm in my 40s. I'm old. No, you're not. You're still a baby. I thought I was so grown at 18. That must be my husband. I had just spoke to let him know I was coming up live today, and I popped in early because I have some errands to run, and he has errands to run. And of course, he makes me eat all the time. If you'll just set that down, hon, I'll take my little cherry. He gives me a cherry slushy. I love these things. It's like being a teenager again. There we go, baby. Thank you. He's the one that keeps me. Also, he's awfully good about this. He makes sure I have my little fireballs. I love these, like the airplanes. So he makes sure I have that. It's a whiskey fireball. Usually has a cinnamon punch, and this time he got me the apple because they were out of cinnamon. And I usually have a little bit of that. And the young man has done on and got mama breakfast when I said, "Don't go get breakfast." But he got me a slushy, so what can I say? I can see I'm gaining too much weight. You spend 10 months in a bed, you gain weight. I don't care who you are. Well, maybe not at a hospital. I don't know. Oh, that does smell good. Just set that right there. I will be getting to that in just a few more minutes. Thank you, love. That was awfully kind of you. Maybe you should just stick it in the. No, honey. Maybe you could stick. Hi, guys. I know you're there. I really do. If you could stick it, yeah, in the microwave. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of stepping over that line a little bit. Bear with me. Bear with me. I said I wasn't going to do this anymore, and then suddenly I started getting 900 people at a time. It was just for me. It's a fairly big circle, and then I felt guilty because if I didn't, I have people that were seeing me. They were watching it, subscribe. So that and what happened with Charlie, I said I had to come back. Um, Nobody, it's like the Holocaust. As far as I'm concerned, that name should be mentioned every freaking day. And I said when it rocked me, and I was, like I said, surprised again, even after I'm not watching camels floating by, which I thought was a big thing. But all of this has happened, and I've done my weeping, and luckily in this day and age, we can also attend his funeral. I was so proud of England. I was so happy to see them gathering the way they did. They said well over 100,000 people gathered. Charlie knows this. The courage of his wife was absolutely extraordinary. It reminded me of Jackie Kennedy when President Kennedy was murdered. He was assassinated as well. That she had to go on. She too had two children. I was the same age as John Jr. Almost identical birth dates. And so when he saluted the coffin, I did it, which is also one of the reasons, besides Dad being a World War II Navy, he was adopted. I was adopted, and so he's a little older. So I'm Army. What can I say? Except go Army. I just at this point they're like they wouldn't give me a weapon. They don't have to. I have a gun safe. Lots of weapons. And I knew when they said 30-06, bolt action, and a scope. I don't think a 3-year-old could have missed that shot. And it was downslope for the shooter. And he still missed it a little bit, but he did his wicked deed. And God is waiting for him. But the other part of learn to hang out, guys. Mm. Mm. That is freaking an awesome combination. I need just a little courage there. Like I said, you're something really special. Melania, I could see, had been crying. And I mean, she was like me. My eyes are swollen, and I'm in black. Today, I have some black, but mostly uh, it's like an olive green. But it was also sent to me. And I wear these, see what comments they get, so forth, and judge it and discard all that. These are all mine, but I mean, they give them to me. So as long as I can, I guess, continue to do this, because I'm not getting any money for this either. It's like I don't like money. Or money doesn't like me. I don't know what the hell to think about that either. I wept when I heard the eulogies. I wept watching his widow I wept watching J.D. Vance trying not to cry. I'm sorry, Vice President Vance. And President Trump was his stoic usual self. That man is something. He's a rock. He's a rock. And he's our fucking rock. You gotta love him. I think he's fucking funny. Pocahontas, this bitch. Every time I see that stupid bitch, I say, oh, look, it's Pocahontas already looking at me. What? No, she still couldn't. This is the other thing I said I like seeing is people are paying for the consequences of going, ha ha, oh, look, he didn't miss this time. Whatever. You are lost. Find a minister, a preacher, a father, somebody. You don't get to decide that whether you like or don't like this person, that it was okay for his life to be taken and celebrated. That fact. You sorry fuck celebrated this man's murder. What if it was your ass in the target range? Riddle me that batshit. Yeah, I'm pissed. Still, I'm going to be pissed. He had every reason in the world to keep making people fucking happy, and you took it from him. But you didn't take the memory of him from us. That's not going to happen. No. And once they took our Charlie from this realm, my nose is bothering me like somebody's coming. We used to say when your nose itch. But that he had made that they had made an extra 10 million. I think it's going to be more like 40 million. I was so astonished, like I said, at London, and so grateful to see it. The same things are happening all across Europe, but the United Kingdom, England is suffering like America. And if you don't think America is suffering, look for a different job. See if you can find one, because now that the DEI, I think, thank God, has been lifted, you might get lucky. You might not have to live in your parents' their basement till you're 34. I had my grandson, he went in his 24, 25 years old. None of us know where we'll be at tomorrow. It's hard to keep going. It's hard to say, oh, you took my money and you did what? While they're saying, well, you didn't put this much money in, we're giving you this extra. Oh, fuck all. No, I could have put it in the bank and got more interest than you're going to give me in a lifetime. And you know for a fact we're not going to live to be X amount of years. You know that shit. Not to mention most of them were raised in the ceiling right out when you could retire. And that's also fairly bad in England. Most people in England work till they go across that bridge. I mean, I thought I wouldn't enjoy it, but I do. I enjoy being retired. And I seem to do more than I used to. I don't know how I have less time. I'll turn around, it's 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I still have dishes to do. I always explain this to you because I have you guys, I call you newbies. I got my newbies. And I smoked cigarillos because I did when I was in Europe. And a friend of ours came to the bar and he pulled one of these out and I almost tackled it. Hadn't even seen one. And I don't know why. Robert said they're everywhere. And I quit smoking. I had to for medical reasons. It's like fucking getting old, okay? And so I am allowed these when I take my downtime, which for me is doing an hour-long podcast. It's probably a wasted hour of your time too, but what the hell? There's not a lot of good shit out there anyway. It wasn't good before this mess. Actually it is. I saw this guy showing people who said this, what they said, where they lived, where they worked, where their restaurant owner. I mean, I love that. And I love the fact that so many people, especially the younger generation, Gen Z, as I understand that they're called, I was so grateful to see them put up podcasts that said we no longer ever will vote Democrat. Now, I never had a thing about democracy as being a Democrat or a Republican. It didn't matter to me. What mattered to me was who could do the job, who was running this one's idiot. Weekend at Bernie's for 4 years. Come the fuck on. Make your ballot for one secret again. Do not put out targets for yourself. That's why that damn little booth you go into had a curtain. Now I see that they're cardboard, but what the fuck do I know? I ain't never really voted because I'll give you an example. When President Trump said, I won the Electoral College vote by such and such, but I also won the people's vote. And I went, right there it is. Okay, he won both. What happens if you lose one? Who actually elects the president? Isn't the Electoral College, who, by the way, are supposed to be representing their districts? Okay, I didn't ask for that motherfucker to tell anybody how I voted. And I probably should say I'm a little salty in language some days. That's why it's not for kids. That's why it's a fucking bar. I can't believe after I came back, all I heard and saw on the podcasting, and I had noticed it while I was just on my hiatus, that everybody had a podcast, and most of them were at a bar. Might as well have had a bar. I mean, a tray would drink. It didn't matter. They had a bar. The other one I can't. I think there's only one that is actually in a bar. I'm not sure. Um, I think so, though. That I've seen or kept up with would be Bill Maher, and he's pretty funny. Um, he used to be, I thought, hilarious until he turned so against this administration before it began. That was stolen from him the first time, and that's another business, some other time. Like I said, to give the man a chance before. What's all this hate? They're not going to be there for 4 to 8 years, maybe 8. You have fucking senators and people, House of Representatives, that have been there for 50 fucking years. But they going to pass it this time when you elect them, you idiots. I don't also believe for a minute that the midterm elections are decided by the fucking voters either. Because I can't never find one that voted. They're like, I vote for the president, that's all. I don't even do that. So where are they getting these fucking votes? You go by, and I have actually ridden around on voting day. Nothing. It's like tumbleweeds are blowing, man. So the fuck's electing these people? Why the hell are they worth $400 million and they're still coming in and they're 86? Hey, Nancy, go fuck yourself. Yeah, they've been doing that shit to us. It's time they got some of that stupidity back. But I try not to be too crude today. Slightly, a little bit. This is the other thing he loves about these. As a cigar, if you're not standing by it, it goes out. So I really do not smoke as much as one would think. Or too much. Yes, maybe too much, though. I'm not so sure. Again, I don't think you'll ever see a funeral for a young man that has been escorted home on Air Force Two. Paul Bearer is the Vice President of the United States, and the President of the United States is at your funeral, and you are not, the dreadful word, thank the Lord, a politician. Although you were more of one than I thought. I loved your college stuff. That's what I saw. And they're making sure that these people are known. They're saying, okay, she lives over here and she works over there, and he works this and he does that, and he owns this restaurant on 4th and Main. You just gotta love it, because I've been screaming this. It's time for their lives to hit the windows, just like they drug us out, but we weren't ever there. And if they found us in a food shopping market parking lot, they were in our face with a bullhorn telling us how, I don't know, see, I'm supposed to be white. I'm British technically by DNA. I'm Scottish as well. What does that make me? A fucking American. Get real. All this woke white supremacist bull. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck all. What you think you are, what you're doing, what you're. I don't give a fuck. I'll say like Cat Williams says what he said about our president. He don't give a fuck. I'm in the same train as he is. The only thing I want to know is who those people in that man's in the shooter in the murderer parking lot running back and forth to see the shooter. And I saw this, and he's 22. I saw this, I said, nah. When they were saying this kid did this, I was like, nah, this kid didn't come with all this. This this kid could do this? Because it seemed to me that this entire generation was so nuts. They didn't know what river to the sea was. They didn't know what river. They didn't know what sea. By the way, it's Jordan and Mediterranean. Just saying. My husband says I try to teach too much history. And guys, if I do slip out of here, I probably haven't got time to slip back. And God bless y'all. But sometimes my feed at this time of day will just cut, and I don't have the time to read you all this stuff because I wear all the hats here unless I'm screaming for my husband because he's pretty busy. But they did poke the sleeping giant. And they're not going to like what they woke up. That boy didn't act alone. Maybe he's a veteran. If he was a veteran, maybe he could do that. If he'd been trying to learn to do it for a year or two, maybe he could have done that. There's a lot to get together here. Charlie was shot when somebody asked him a question about transgender and murder or what have you, something along that line. Charlie then went up and got the microphone and went to answer. As soon as he had that microphone, he was shot. So that person in the audience was in on this too. They made sure that Charlie couldn't usually sit still. I don't know if he, from what I think, kind of haven't seen it. I believe he's actually sitting down. He might have just reached out to get the mic. I don't know. It was very early. He probably had some coffee or something with him. In any event, they knew it was kill shot. They knew they had a kill shot in. There was never any doubt that they had a kill shot. And when I did see video of them taking him out, and I had already heard the girl that was describing it, and I said, no, he was gone before they could get him to that van. Been around that too long, too. Even if they could have basically patched him and there'd have been a trauma unit 20 feet away, shoving blood in him while trying to cauterize, I still don't think he would have made it. It was a kill shot. But I know Charlie had time to understand that before he passed. He understood that he was leaving his wife and babies. And that I'm sure in the way I see this boy and everybody else as well as me, I know that's what his last thoughts were. And I hope they weren't that he thought he let them down. He didn't. Your memory will stay. They'll be proud of you when they're old enough to understand what it means. It doesn't mean that Daddy gets to pick him up, hold him in his lap. It doesn't mean they get to run across the floor screaming, Daddy, Daddy. But it's something. And we got to hold on to what we get. My bar chandelier, when my AC unit kicks on, throws us in the dark for a second. We love it. It kind of wakes us up. Oh, hey, must be getting warm in here. There's just too much I could say about this. And I've seen a lot of people dropping the videos of the president and this, that, and the other. I just think it's terrible to do that. You're going to see those videos if you want to see them. I think what I do is I sit up here and I say what I think. And I want to see what everybody else thinks. And it's free. It's a good tool. This is social Woodstock. Like, share, subscribe. It really helps the channel. They seem to love that. I'm not sure what an algorithm is or why I should know about it, but there's something to that too. And I want to keep my channel. People have asked me that know me, how do you get up there and just talk? I don't know. I really don't. But I enjoy doing it. And I have my stiffener. I think I meant to explain that. I try to every time. Drink some of my juice. My parents, I said, were World War IIers. And in those ladies' days, if they fainted, and they used to from bustles and corsets and they bound themselves into. But all that would be laced, let some of that loose and ammonia thing, and they, yeah, I'm up now. Till like tomorrow. But the men would, of course, have already had somebody, one of the kids or whoever, bring a stiffener. And it was whatever hooch was in the house. Moonshine. Yes, my adopted dad ran moonshine. That's the way we were raised. But the women now, they had to faint and get a stiffener. Personally, I think they fainted really well. I was pretty impressed. Mm, even that one's good. Where was I digress. My mind goes over here, and I just completely forget what I was talking about. Did I mention I'm an older generation? Shut up. Just Hippie's fine. Nobody older. I'm good with Hippie. I'm like Steve Tyler and that Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna get older. It's gonna take a damn long time, and I'm gonna look pretty good while I'm doing it. Ask anybody. I had another friend that used to say to me that she says, "You remind me of June Cleaver." I said, "June Cleaver," and I was more into Facebook than I had more up. Lately, I haven't done that, and it was like because I dress in that kind of '50s vintage style quite often. I don't do jeans right now, slacks much. That's what she would say. You're always dressed up like her, wearing pearls and vacuuming. I'm like, well, you got to wear fucking something. It's not like I get visitors. And like I said, I might drive 50 miles in a month. Don't make a damn. When I was growing up, you presented, as my older doctor used to say, a pleasing appearance. I think they made that a stamp because I got my records and it always said, always presents a pleasing appearance. Like, okay, so I washed my hair or my face or what does this mean? I know the little gnome that was my doctor didn't look good. I used to think to myself, don't you want any other slacks? Anyway, so I get that a lot. You can bring that. That's good with me. Whatever you want to talk about, pop in here. Subscribe. Tell others to share the damn thing. There's somebody maybe that'll come in and say, hey, did you see that ghost that was on? Love ghosts. I love that stuff. Scares you just witless, doesn't it? Some of the stuff that they're getting. I mean, when they came out with the SLS camera, oh man. Then what's with the shadow critters anyway? Them things are out everywhere. My son won't talk about it, but my other home, and they were staying with us at the time, saving for the house that they have here that they bought. They were in college, and so they stayed at our house. They paid their way, and but they saved for that. And he came running from the kitchen one night, and he had to come through a dining room with the French doors and all that, and into the entertainment room where we all were. And there was already three of us on the couch, and there was another love kind of couch seat thing in the big chair. And he jumped in my lap, and he was 23 or so. I was like, "What is it, sweetie?" And he said, "Mom, there's a black shadow, black man. There's somebody in the kitchen." And his entire body was shaking. And my son's not a coward. So this was what upset me from the get-go was my kid's in my lap shaking. What the fuck is in there? And I usually have a rosary with me. A little stupid that way, but I keep a rosary. I think Mother Mary and along that line. I'm not sure you should kiss the Pope's ring, but I don't believe in organized religion, but I do believe in God. And the rosary is one of the tools of God, yes. So I ran off in there, and I had holy oil too. And I was running off in that kitchen. Nothing. And nothing that I could even sense. And it had happened to me twice growing up. That we had a big back door with a big back window in the kitchen. And of course, they had us doing the kitchen. And I turned around, and this thing with this huge horn, I mean, it covered the entire window, and I couldn't move. I couldn't, in my head, I'm running, screaming, jumping jacks, you name it. Nothing, not even a breath. I couldn't even exhale, inhale. I was just like a fly trapped in amber. And I've never forgotten it. I believe I was 11 or 12. And then my mother called for me, and it just wasn't there anymore. And I could move, and I almost collapsed to the floor. I was so frightened. When I came in, I actually did sit down and trying to understand what mom needed, but mom was a mom. And she came running over. Oh my God, what happened? Why are you shaking? This was in probably, spring break or something. It was nice outside. And we didn't have air conditioning, so that couldn't be it. And I'm that is what I sounded like, Daffy Duck. I couldn't get shit out right. I couldn't have told her my name. I mean, it scared the absolute piss out of me. And finally, I managed. And off she went. Now, when it happened to my son, I went and smudged the house and all that, surrounding areas and all that. But we finally had to move. It was an evil house. It was my husband's mother's home. No asparagus to her, sweet memories. But there was something, we don't know when it got there and how many they got there, but the grounds were that way as well. I saw an entire encampment of Native Americans from the backyard through fog. There's a bunch of fogs. I mean, I went out there. I was, stupid, but I went out there, and it was like I could almost reach him, and I couldn't get to that. It just moved. And it went all the way we had a ravine in the back. My husband had a garage, his own, we ran our own business even then. And there was like an acre and a half back. And I walked up, this is at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun had barely rose. I got so wet, got soaking wet. But at the ravine, I knew I was at the ravine and I didn't know what was going on. How it's so What am I seeing? It seems to take very little time when it's going on. It's been like 3 seconds, and you're at the ravine going, "How the what the you know?" And they were on the other side of the ravine, and I could see them clearly, and it just felt as if they were staring at me. And then they weren't there. They didn't fade away. They didn't have drifting smoke. They were just not there. And that happened 3 or 4 times. And it didn't start happening until after the shadow critter started coming. There was also an older man. His father also, I think, stayed or had come to warn him because we could hear him come down the hall and get your ass out of bed. He was Korean bed. And I liked him, loved him. In fact, he passed away here at the same VA hospital that I attend now, 15 years, maybe 20 years now down the road. And so, yes, guys, there's some good stuff come out of this. Thank God. Amen. I've seen droves are leaving the Democratic Party. The youth is leaving the Democrat. This so backfired on them. Thank you, Lord. Did they really have to kill somebody because they thought he was going to be that powerful? Yes, they did. Whatever John Kennedy was doing, and he was a war hero, mind you. If you don't know that, put it in the comments. I'll send you some stuff. Or you can ask me on live chat right now. I'll be happy to fill in any questions you have if I can. Yeah, there's a lot of history out there. Everybody needs to find it. And they need to remember who and what America is. And stop telling these little motherfuckers that are over here waving Mexican flags, get in the back of the car. Get in back of the truck. Hold your sign. We'll get to El Paso in 20 minutes and take these motherfuckers out of my town, out of every fucking town in the United States. If they haven't come here legally, they should not be here. They've already broken the law, and I'm tired of people throwing themselves in front of the ISIS vehicles. Oh, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Do you know how many jobs these bastards took from people who were born here generation after generation? We love asylum seekers. The problem for the asylum seekers is like that little baby girl that came here from the Ukraine. She lived through the war. She got here. She paid for it. She learned English. They gave her permission to get a job. She got one that very day. When she got off work, she got on that train. There wasn't but 3 or 4 people up in there, including her murderer. They did nothing to help that baby girl. She died unsure of what had happened to her, curled up in a fetal position, and nobody saw this. Because if it were me, I would hunt you down. I would hunt you down, and I would have you tried as aiding and abetting what this person did. You watched him walk the fuck past you, blood dripping from the knife. You saw that because he stood in front of the doors. They wouldn't even open yet. You sorry son of a bitches. I'd say shame on you, but fuck you. You will need help someday. And think what you would feel in her place. She was scared already. She'd been in a war zone. She had enough damn gumption to come to a new country and start over. She was fucking 23. She was a baby, and you bastards did nothing. See, I'm not that happy when I'm pissed. There's no excuse for it. No. And I think that all of you should be held accountable. Back in 20, maybe it's 20 years ago, I heard that they'd actually had to create a Good Samaritan law because people would keep going. Oh, let's step over that lady that's been stabbed 3 times. There's blood over there. Kind of come this way. What the fuck has happened to Americans? We've produced a generation that saved the fucking planet. And mind you not, World Wars I and II were saved by the Americans. Both. In particular, World War II. Soviets got away with a little more than they ought to have, but they showed up in Berlin same time we did. And they'd had to fight. They lost millions of people. You can only do so much after a war. That is worldwide. And that's what this is. This just happens to be United States wide. And I have trouble using the term United States, which was coined after the Civil War in case nobody knows anybody. Okay. Yeah. It was, of course, coined by the Civil War because America had what? United the States. Isn't that something? They don't teach you that shit in school. They don't teach my kid that. They didn't teach him that shit. They didn't teach my grandson that. They aren't teaching my granddaughter that. I had to push my grandson through school. I couldn't understand. My son, rather than continue, he went and got a GED, and I didn't understand. I loved all my schools. I loved my vocational. I loved college. I loved high school. Loved all of it. I did not understand. Even with my grandson, I didn't understand. And then I started seeing with my granddaughter. She's only 13. And I went, oh, horrific God. Yeah, keep her at home. And she's beautiful as she can be. She's kind of like a little bit of Hepburn and Sophia Loren. Gorgeous baby girl. Just absolutely beautiful. No makeup is needed. I hope she doesn't do like me and do all this shit. She has not got the problems with the face that I do. And this is the best it gets from me. But she's gorgeous. And I worry. And I've heard about these rape gangs that they had. I don't know what they call it. It's what it is. And I think it's London and places around. They've kept it kind of under wraps, and it's the girl's fault. It's this, same thing we used to see here 30, 40 years ago. We might still. And this could be why so many women didn't report rapes. And I'm assuming that is why. Because I wouldn't have had to report it. They could have brought a body bag if they wanted. I mean, nah, wouldn't need the cops. Nope, just those guys with the body bag. Hi, you're here finally. And that's this son of a bitch that killed Charlie Kirk. Utah has the death penalty, just like Texas. Love Texas. Previous life I must have spent in Texas. In any event, They do have the death penalty. I want this motherfucker trained. I want him fast tracked. He should have been there yesterday. I don't want to hear when he turns 48 years old that he might have another way to get on his death row. I want to hear that he's no longer on a civilized planet. He's gone. He won't never do that shit no more, will he? And maybe if you do that shit and you quit knocking your ass around for 15,000 years, some of this shit might stop. Cashless bail. Slap. Slap. Slap you again. I'm generally a good person. That's what I want to do. The bitch sent up mm, that let this murdering scumbag out to kill this little girl on the train. And I'm just as angry at her as I am this bastards on the train. Now I'm not even thinking about the fucker that did it. I'm thinking about how this girl was curled up in the fetal position, bleeding to death, nobody to help her. She's scared, stupid. She didn't even know what's wrong. Not a one of you could help. I don't wish to ill of anyone, but I'd almost like to hear that at least 2 or 3 of you guys got the same treatment. I hope to God you can't sleep for years, if not the rest of your lives, because had you tried, it'd be different. I think the child would have made it. That wasn't that big a knife. She was trying to stem the flow with her hand and still did not know what happened. She would have seen her blood dripping from that bastard's knife as he stood in front of the door in front of her. She would have known then that was her blood. I want these people charged. If you don't have a good Samaritan law now, in other words, we're not going to stand by while you kill somebody, then you need to put it there. So anybody that's in politics, and it's like pirates, though. It just the term is synonymous to me with pirate. But I'd say write your senator or what have. It wouldn't do any good. I think what they're going to do now, I think the midterms, they might as well, if they're Democratic, I wouldn't spend a lot of money on ads if I was you. I'm just saying. When this happened, and again, I barely gotten to know Charlie Kirk. I said, we now have a new martyr. And he's going to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And I've seen that already. Like I said, you've got the president, the vice president. So many people love this young man. And they paid him such a great tribute. I cried, all of you. Yeah, I ain't gonna. I was sobbing at one point. The songs that were written, Dale wrote one. The other boy, and I like him. I can't think of his name with the red hair. Ed Sheeran, I think. His was so. I cried and I cried. I was sobbing when I heard his song. I was just sobbing. His wife is so strong. I'm very, very proud of this boy. I don't know if I could have done it. Like I said, the only thing I can equate that with is Jackie Kennedy, um, standing there while her son fluted that catafalque. And Diana, Our Lady Diana, our princess, when the boys walked behind her catafalque. I couldn't hardly breathe. I was sobbing so bad. My husband didn't understand it, but there were millions of us in America understood it. She was murdered. I don't care what anybody says. She told everybody what they were going to do, and they did it. Um, she was just as murdered as Charlie. But I'm not going to forget him. I'm going to talk about all the time. If I miss a day, remind me in the comments. Because there are now people who have come from the other side that have been so brainwashed that they can't tell you it's Tuesday. They'll argue you to death that it's Thursday. Now they've decided, oh, okay, these guys have been lying to us, and these guys are using us. And oh my God, we're killing our country. Charlie left a lot of material to show and teach all of these generations that it's important. It's important. And by the way, as far as gun regulations go, how many people were killed when they drove their truck through there? Anybody? How many were killed by machete? Anybody? How many little girls were killed with a knife in Manchester? Anybody? So no, they're not fucking taking my gun. And Charlie Kirk said it as well. You need a gun to protect yourselves from the bad guys who have the guns that are breaking the laws. If no one else stands up when evil is being done, then evil will continue to flourish. I wouldn't have been afraid at all. I would have jumped right in there. When he stabbed that little girl, I wouldn't have cared about his ass. I'd have been over there doing my damnedest to keep her from bleeding out in a few minutes. And to let her lie there and die alone is just more than I could bear. And 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 then right behind that, Charlie. Now, and it wasn't right behind it because these son of a bitch and things that they call news, which are media. I can't use the word legacy. And they're not media either. But the bitches buried it. Oh, they might think that's racist. You think? Because he fucking said so. I killed the white woman. I killed the white woman. Oh no, not racist there. Much. What do you call that then? Oh, come on, I got time. Throw it in here. Live chat's up. Aren't you bored? Come to the bar. Keep this movement going. I'm an old woman. It's hard for me to keep up with all this stuff. I just figured this shit out again. Just after 10 minutes off, I was like, I was down here and I couldn't get up there and I kept cutting my feet. I can hear my husband moving about. His man cave is upstairs. That's another story entirely. Pretty good one. So I've seen the outpouring now of his death. Then I haven't seen that since Lady Diana. I'm just about done, darling. I'm just about to sign off. He's wondering if I'm off this yet because I also have errands to run. So by now he's fussing. It's like that. Been too long married. I call him my poor long suffering husband. That's what I say. He's pretty good at suffering. But I still have a couple of minutes to go. So we'll fill in the best we can. You guys keep looking for these people who are putting up these hateful posters and these hateful on everything. It's all over the media that the hell. I saw college students laughing. How do you laugh about a man who's 31 that has been murdered in front of his family, his parents, his kids, his wife? They were in the audience in the front row, right in front of him when he was shot. I mean, it was that nice girl that explained and said what she said about how that happened and what it looked like. And the front row was spattered with Charlie's blood, and his parents, his two little babies, were in it. And he was showing me something. It's kind of like pantomime, or he can't get out of the box. They were there. They were there. They had to see this. Now, thank God the children, I don't know what they were told, but they will go on. Hopefully, that be something they can look at many decades from now, if necessary. I don't think it really is. I haven't seen it, and I'll do anything I can to avoid seeing it. Uh, I just will. I'm sure he and his wife are probably in the same boat on that. I'm sure his parents are too, and they have taken it to where you really can't see anything. I saw the one clip where they were carrying him. It was a heroic effort. It really was. But I heard that little girl explain that. And yes, to me, little girls are usually below the age of 60. Makes me feel better. I have my drink before I eat something to get happier. Mm, I hate to let that go so early in the day. So I'm dressed up and I'm going to run to where else? Wally World. He still bitch about that because somehow I'll spend money there. Hates it when I spend money. So I tend to do that a lot. Just a heads up, ladies. Keep Charlie alive. Keep going out there. I didn't have a memorial place out here in Augusta. I had wanted to take flowers, and I didn't know where to send them. I know it was Utah, but I didn't know where to send flowers. So I just sent in my memory flowers. I did attend. Uh, I did attend, and I kept wanting to hug Melania. I really wanted to so hug her. She looked like she had. Oh, she was having a hard time too. Such a beautiful woman, absolutely, and such a good person. I mean, it's like if you've heard of auras, that girl's aura is like 10 feet out in the golden. That one is a beautiful woman, and she doesn't have a mean bone in her body either. These people have been seeing and knowing Charlie Kirk for years, almost a decade, I think at least. And I had gotten along that timeline, and I was doing the podcast, watching, Prove Me Wrong. I love that show. I mean, to me, it was a show. So you guys keep getting out of the way. Go Republican, so that we can stop the madness that they're tearing our country with. I don't know who's doing this or why they're doing it, but they did a damn good job. If Weekend at Bernie's had continued into another generation to where they could have made Kamala the Giggle Girl president or even vice president again, America would have been finished. And I'll tell you the truth, I'm really afraid for when President Trump is no longer in office. I think a good combination would be either Rubio, Mark Rubio, and Ron DeSantis. I think they would make a great president, vice president. I really do. Or hang in there, keep J.D. Vance, and then maybe Marco Rubio with them that time, and then maybe Marco Rubio and DeSantis because they're pretty young, all three of them. And get some fucking term limits, and for God's sakes, claw back some of that money they done stole. There's no way that Nancy just figured that shit out. She says her husband did it. I don't think he can even make an egg. At least make it where nobody else could do it again. I was trying to think of how I wanted the podcast to go today, what I wanted to say, and was anybody listening, and should I keep going? I hope I should. So I've made that decision, at least for now. But if there is anybody out there that sees this, throw it in the comments. Bitch, stay home. Or come on back out. I'll talk to you. Because it's Woodstock. It is social Woodstock. It's free. We don't even have to get cold, hungry, dirty, or hot. We can sit at our bars, drink our ass off, and talk like crazy. I always have live chat. So you can come and see me anytime. I try to catch up to my other podcasts because it's been 2 years that I've been podcasting, so you can pick up any of them. No, I'm not interviewing people. I don't make money at this, although I'm not averse to it. But I just get up here and I go, talk to me. I don't care what it is. Talk to me. And I see he's running behind me again, so I'm going to have to get off here. My time is up. Everybody, keep Charlie Kirk in the president. Have a great day. Stay safe. God bless.